It was the same every single day. At exactly 12:15 p.m., the powerful CEO rolled her wheelchair into the company cafeteria, picked up a simple lunch, and quietly sat alone at the same corner table. Hundreds of employees walked past her. Some smiled politely. Most avoided eye contact. No one ever asked if they could join her. Then one ordinary afternoon, a struggling single dad carrying his lunch tray, with his little daughter beside him, walked straight toward that lonely table. What happened next changed 3 lives forever and reminded an entire company that kindness is far more powerful than success. Before we begin, welcome to Heartline Stories, where every story reminds us that one act of kindness can change a life. If you enjoy heartfelt stories like this, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories with people around the world. Margaret Collins was one of the most respected CEOs in Chicago. She had built her technology company from a tiny office into a billion-dollar business. Newspapers called her brilliant. Business magazines called her fearless. But few people knew the price she had paid. 10 years earlier, a terrible car accident had taken away her ability to walk. Since then, she had relied on a wheelchair every day. Although she refused to let her disability stop her career, it quietly changed the way people treated her. Employees respected her. Investors admired her. But very few people simply treated her like another human being. Every lunch break, Margaret sat alone. Some workers believed she wanted privacy because she was the CEO. Others simply felt uncomfortable around her wheelchair. The result was always the same. Silence. One Monday morning, the company hired a new maintenance supervisor named Daniel Brooks. Daniel was 38 years old, a widower, and the father of an 8-year-old daughter named Lily. Life had not been easy. After losing his wife to cancer 3 years earlier, Daniel worked 2 jobs just to keep their small apartment. Every dollar mattered. Yet despite everything he had been through, Daniel carried something many wealthy people had lost. Kindness. That afternoon, Lily visited her father after school because her babysitter had canceled. As they entered the cafeteria, Lily looked around with curious eyes. "Daddy," she whispered, "why is that lady eating all by herself?" Daniel followed her gaze. He immediately recognized the CEO. Several empty tables surrounded her. He noticed people glancing at Margaret before choosing seats somewhere else. Daniel smiled gently. "I don't know," he answered. "But nobody should have to eat alone." Without another word, Lily picked up her little lunch tray. "Can we sit with her?" Daniel hesitated for only a second. Then they walked toward Margaret's table. The entire cafeteria seemed to grow quiet. Employees watched nervously. Nobody ever approached the CEO during lunch. Daniel stopped beside the table. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said politely. "Would you mind if we joined you?" Margaret looked up, surprised. For a moment, she almost thought she had heard him wrong. Then she noticed little Lily smiling brightly. "I'd love the company," Margaret replied softly. Lily climbed into the chair beside her. "My name is Lily." Margaret smiled. "I'm Margaret." "You have pretty earrings," Lily said. Margaret laughed. "They were my mother's." For the first time in weeks, genuine laughter echoed across her lunch table. Daniel talked about raising Lily. Margaret shared funny stories about starting her business in a tiny rented garage. Lily told them about her school science project. None of them mentioned wheelchairs. None of them talked about job titles. They were simply 3 people sharing lunch. Across the cafeteria, employees couldn't stop watching. The powerful CEO was smiling wider than anyone had seen in years. The next day, Daniel and Lily returned. Again, they joined Margaret. Soon it became their daily tradition whenever Lily visited after school. Little by little, something incredible happened. Other employees began gathering nearby. One marketing assistant finally asked if she could join them. Then an engineer. Then a receptionist. Before long, Margaret's lonely corner table became the busiest table in the cafeteria. People realized something they had forgotten. Behind the title of CEO was simply a woman who enjoyed good conversations and genuine friendship. One afternoon, Margaret asked Daniel a question. "Why did you decide to sit with me that first day?" Daniel looked at Lily before answering. "My daughter reminded me that kindness usually begins with a simple choice." Lily grinned proudly. Margaret felt tears forming in her eyes. "You know," she whispered, "after my accident, people either stared at my wheelchair or ignored me completely. Very few people actually saw me." Daniel answered quietly. "We saw you." Those 3 words stayed with Margaret all evening. A few weeks later, the company gathered for its annual employee celebration. Everyone expected speeches about profits and future goals. Instead, Margaret wheeled herself onto the stage holding a small photograph. It showed Daniel and Lily laughing during lunch. She looked across the room. "When people ask what makes a great company," she began, "they usually talk about innovation, leadership, or hard work." She paused. "I disagree." The room became silent. A great company is built by people who choose kindness when nobody is watching. Many employees glanced toward Daniel. Margaret continued. "I've received awards worth millions of dollars. None of them meant as much as the day a little girl asked if she could eat lunch beside me." Lily blushed. The audience smiled. Margaret announced a new company program focused on inclusion, mentorship, and employee connection. No one in the building would ever have to eat alone unless they truly wanted to. She also promoted Daniel to Director of Employee Culture, saying that his greatest qualification wasn't found on his resume. It was found in his heart. The room erupted into applause. Months passed. The company culture completely transformed. Departments that barely spoke began working together. Employees checked on one another. New hires immediately felt welcome. Productivity increased. Customer satisfaction reached record highs. But the biggest change couldn't be measured by numbers. Every lunch hour, tables filled with conversations, laughter, and friendships. The lonely corner table disappeared forever. One afternoon, Lily asked Margaret a simple question. "Are you still the boss?" Margaret smiled. "Yes." Lily giggled. "You don't look like a boss." "What do I look like?" Lily reached over and hugged her gently. "You look like family." Margaret closed her eyes, holding back tears. After all the success she had achieved, no business award had ever touched her heart the way those 3 words did. Sometimes the greatest gift we can offer another person isn't money, power, or advice. Sometimes it's simply pulling up a chair. Because kindness doesn't ask about titles. It doesn't notice wheelchairs. It doesn't care about wealth or position. It simply sees a person who deserves to feel seen. And perhaps today, somewhere nearby, someone is sitting alone, quietly hoping another human being will notice them. Maybe that person is waiting for someone exactly like you. If this story touched your heart, remember that even the smallest act of kindness can create a ripple that changes countless lives. Thank you for spending this time with Heartline Stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone you care about. Until next time, keep choosing kindness, because the seat you offer today may become the hope someone remembers forever.